Good morning, everybody. This is the final exam for Architecture 172, where we design from concept to design to partie to mass model to design development and construction documents. Probably 30% enough to be shared with engineers at this point. For an accessory dwelling unit is also project where the client can customize it easily. And we selected a theme this semester where all the students customize that theme. Very proud of the success. This is series part 2. Part 1 was by Juan Carlos Montenegro. And look at it on our YouTube channel. This is part 2. And we will start with Yanitzi Zuniga.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yanitzi Zuniga. I'm an architecture student at LATTC, and this is for Architecture 173 construction documents. In the beginning of the class, we looked at accessory dwelling units and why we need them. We looked at the types of ADUs. There's basement conversions, converted garage ADUs, detached ADUs, and attached ADUs. We looked at some of the bills here in California for the housing and community. We looked at the SB 897, AB 2221, AB 916, and a little summary of them. These bills, under state law, each single family home may now create at least one ADU, and multifamily lots per every 4 existing residential units may create one ADU, so long as the existing units were legally established. Also, permitting agency have to approve or deny an application for an ADU within 60 days. And approximately the max square footage is 850 for an ADU, 16 feet in height or 18 if the ADU is half a mile walk from transportation, and or it's the existing multifamily is 2 stories. Some benefits of ADUs is that it's a source of income. It's a privacy for extended family, and it's an ideal living space for young people, small families, couples. These are some of the case studies I researched while coming up with an ADU to present to the class. More case studies. Our ADU has a shed roof, so I looked at mostly houses that had a shed roof. Also, our ADU has a deck. So these are some of the case studies for a garden deck or a green roof. This is a case study from First Office ADU. And these are pre-approved plans that you can find on this website at the Los Angeles building. And I found this interesting because like us, they had different layouts of an ADU. And these are the 4 different layouts. So they had a 1 bedroom, a single, and I believe a 2 bedroom as well. We also looked at the solar decathlon. This is California Polytech State University. This was their ADU they created for the solar decathlon. And these are their construction documents that we looked at to study and create our own. These are the site elevations for their project. And this is a detail sheet that they created for their ADU. This is a detail we looked at in class of the foundation. This is my ADU, and this is the project browser that we followed with creating our construction documents. This is a little video of how you can get started on Revit to create your own accessory dwelling unit. I can probably forward it a little bit. Right here, we're leaving space for the wall since we're first doing a Part T drawing on Revit, and then you create a wall. This is the Part T being created. Our kitchen and living space was 16 by 16 feet. We have a bedroom, 10 by 10, a hallway, a bathroom, and a wind tower. These are the walls being created. This is the wind tower being created. And now we're here at the roof. This is a flat roof, and for the kitchen and living, we decided to create a shed roof. And you just attach the walls to your roof. This is a design development sheet of my finished product of the ADU. This is the partie and a schematic, which you just saw on the video. This is the floor plan and the door and window schedule. We have the roof plan, the foundation plan. This is a design development with furniture. And you have your north and south elevation, east and west elevation, a section, This is an elevation embedding construction document. And lastly, this is a video of my ADU in a site. And materials I put in it. Lastly, I wanted to share a little bit of my GBCE conference we attended this year in 2023. Some of the speakers and panels I attended. One of them was making Black and Brown communities green. I think this was an interesting panel to hear because an ADU can help be one of the solutions for making Black and Brown communities green. There was also a workshop on ESG, which is environmental social governance, and the three different scopes companies have. I also got to see some of the booths. This is Ramo Green Barriers. It's a fencing sound barrier that's eco-friendly and environmentally friendly and maintenance free. This is another booth, Power Stack, and it's a smart power poles that are easy to assemble and are solar panels. And this is an example of how you can add charging station to Power Stack or surveillance. This is another booth, Magic Organics. Make um, they make digesters for waste, so food waste, and they make it into few soil enhancer and my resources. Thank you.
So my presentation for this class was uh, the learning of the ADU, and it's to detachment from existing construction of a house. And so the way we learned this concept was, or build this concept was by typology, tectonics, and typology. So here's a brief descriptions of what typology is, tectonics, and topology. Um, this is also the design we chose, which is here to the right. Here are the measurements of the partee. And I also have this site where you can find approved ADUs already from the Los Angeles County. So pretty much this is a design scheme we got to build the ADU. And my materials that we were supposed to use were wood, metal, and concrete for our ADUs. For my partee of an ADU, we'll be using wood, metal, and concrete. I will use wood to create platform for framings for rough framing, wood will be measured and cut and assembled to create walls, roof, stairs, and subfloors. And then I also put concrete. Concrete will be used to create flooring, a foundation, or a slab, depending on the sizing of the pour. X amount of concrete will be ordered. Excavation will be required during this stage of building. So this is pretty much the materials that we were supposed to be using for our ADU. There's also the wood materials, methods of construction, the extraction of wood, the type of wood framing we're gonna use, and how resistant the actual wood is as well. I have my case study, which is our party that we have created in class. And here's a construction document, and then there's a design document. So side by side. And then so I got more intricate about what type of wood, the wood that we're gonna use to build this frame would be prime white wood studs, and it's a measurement of 2x4s by 8 foot. And here's actually a estimation link on how to get exact measurement, estimate amount of materials you would be using for. And I also put the vertical and horizontal measurements of each individual walls for our party. And here they are. And I also created well, me and in a classmate of mine created a estimation for this actual measurement of room, which was uh the which was this room here. I forgot what it was. What is it? Oh, the bedroom. So we created the amount of material we'll be using. For example, it measured first. We figured out the perimeter of it, and then we figured out how much studs we would be using for that. So we would also use those studs for the double plating, the top plate, the bottom plate, and also here's another math equation that he taught me, and we would use about 39 studs to create that one room, which would be the bedroom. Here's just the area of that room. ADU, I got more sources here for the ADU. Masonry. So what would you, the concept of masonry, we would use concrete, water, and sand to create cement to create our forms, or to create our footings and foundations. And yeah, here's also a link on how you need to cure the concrete, so the amount of time it takes for it to harden. So Mr. Lin explained to us about this as well, about our footing, on how important it is for our ADU, or to build an ADU. For example, this is a 16-inch width, and then the height would be 1 6 inches high, but it also has a vertical terrain. So it would also be, it says 10, approximately 10. And this is just a very detailed example of a footing. I also have how much rebar, rebar mesh, the types of screws will be used in order for us to hold our studs together. Sorry, our studs together. And here's the actual my final case study of what I have created in Revit and transferred into Twinmotion. I thought I was recording. I also changed.
It's not completely finished, but here are some Revit tutorials I used that helped. What is an ADU? Access Dwelling Unit, or ADU, is secondary unit either attached or detached from a single family home. ADUs typically tap into the utilities of the primary house located on the same property. So this is how it should look like. Some case studies. Furniture placement. Give 30 to 36 inches of walkway between large furniture pieces if your living room allows it. If not, then at least 18 to 24. This rule is specific pertains to large pieces of furniture in the space and is here to help to avoid overcrowding in your living room with too many large pieces, which will have you and your guests trying to squeeze between the places. There are lots of pretty furniture out there, but when designing a room, you want to make sure have enough space to walk around it. So here's an image to give an example how that should look like. Chairs. Make sure there's no less than 3.5 feet and no more than 10 feet in space between seats. This rule helps you space out your seats for maximum enjoyment. We all been on that awkward date when said date leans too close and asks you questions to talk you over dinner. So it's also important to have space between chairs. Okay, here are party schematic designs, DDCDs. So this is how it started out. Then we've made changes to the chimney to have space. So the chimney is not overlapping with the wall. And here's the furniture placement I have. And here is showing the roofing. And also the chimney doesn't overlaps with the wall over here. And here are the measurements in between spaces with windows. And here are the elevations on heights of each level. And here's the wood structure of my place here as well. I made it separate. And here is how my Revit house looks. And that's it.
Alright, so the partie, this is the main partie that we used. This was my design for my partie. The floor plan, this is a construction document. This is my roof plan construction documents. My north and south elevations. This is my east and west elevation. A couple of sections for north, south. And my east and west sections. And then for the command I'll be showing how to make a slab on grade. So first you basically put the slab. So just for an example, I'm just gonna put any size slab. Once the slab is done, well, first you gotta make sure that all the settings are correct. You press check. Since it is a slab, is gonna be under the floor one. So what you do is you go to 3D. And it's gonna be right here. To put this slab edge, you have to basically rotate down, look under it. Click on the command, so slab edge, and you're gonna be clicking on each corner of the slab. And that's how you make the slab edge. You could edit this slab, the thickness of it, however you want it. The only thing that you could only switch the side of the inside, not the thickness of this right here. So I do have a different one. But that's how it would look. So that's the command that I'm going to be showing. And that's it for my presentation.
So this is my final. So my final presentation from the class 173. My name is Kendrick Gonzalez. Let's start. So this is the Revit tutorials that I did. So ADU construction as investment, a benefit is that ADU offers the possibility to rent the addition up, not only cover the monthly payments, but often make an extra passive economy. So is 5 types of ADU is singular ADU, grading flat, attachment ADU, multifamily ADU, detachment ADU, and junior ADU. The attachment the units to separate from the primary structure. Attachment the units is attached to the primary structure too. So convert existing spaces, bedroom attached to garage, storage, and other accessory structures. So the challenge, like to build the ADU, and the challenge the community have is government approved and permits, design constraints, homeless, students without a housing keeper, laws of ADU. Communities are motivated to approve the ADU because they are a convenient and affordable housing option that can also maintain neighborhood characters. What community needs to know about accessory dwelling units? As more communities look to expand housing sites, they might consider a simple idea. Accessory dwelling units and accessory dwelling units (ADU) is a second housing unit on single-family residential lot. Community refers to as a granny flats, couch housing, and lot switching (ADU) are smaller independent units with a full kitchen and bathroom. These separate living spaces can be located with the home, such as a basement apartment attachment to the home, such as a garage apartment, or this attachment from the home, such as a cottage. So laws of California to make an ADU. I get this information from the Autonomous. Minimum size with construction multiple ADU. Each ADU must be a minimum of 1,200 square feet in measurements. ADU height more attachments at ADU to primary structure. The ADU height must be 25 feet over same height allowed by year zone. A pro on new building proposal. New buildings must not change occupant housing, intended use, economy, and maintains. And here's the link. So the following table describes the requirements for classify and what must have ADU. So only one ADU is permitted of the parcel of the primary one unit dwelling. ADU are more permitting with 2 or 4 units dwelling. The ADU must be supported in size to primary dwelling have the following separate feature from the primary dwelling: means of ingress or egress, kitchen, sleeping area, bathing area. The kitchen must at the minimum contain the following: cabinet, a countertop, a skin with running water, a stove or stove hooking up, hot plates, microwaves or roaster oven are not. An independent second kitchen, but it's those not considering an ADU. The removal of stove does not change the ADU classification. So if you are planning to add an ADU to your property, and you should be compliant with the government code. So this is the code that require the ADU, and this is the link. And right here is a picture of the code 65852.2. So the framing is a construction is fitting together of pieces to get structure, support, and shape. Framing materials are also wood engineering or wood or structural steel. Construction documents guide all phases of construction project from the design process to permitting the actual building process. Architect builders our clients should all make this sound familiar with the architectural structural and schematic design documents that accompany every big building project. So in my case study that I did from construction documents, I found 11 type of construction documents. The first one is A0 sheets. This product information document serves a cover sheet from a permit set or construction set. A1 sheet demolition. Demolition plans show the current state of a structure and indicate what must be the demolition a part of the construction project. 2A also known as blueprints for plans are working drawings that show an aerial view of each level of the building. 3 sheets elevation. Elevation drawings are architecture drawings that show cross-section of building. A4. An architecture or design team provides these plans to show what materials will be aligned atop the core structure. A5, a more detailed variation of A3 sheets. This elevation might show furniture, light switches, and wall finish type. A6 in the construction industry, the word structural refers to list or spreads of certain materials. A6 structural drawings. These building design drawings are the work of a structural engineer who has different role than architecture. M sheets. These types of drawings show mechanical systems and building, most notable an HVAC system, which control heating or air conditioning and requirements in most new homes and office buildings. This is a picture of A0, A1, 3 sheets, elevations, 4A, I mean A4, A5, A6, S sheets structure drawings, M sheets, P sheets public drawings, E sheets electrical drawings, and this is my project of the ADU with the four 3D views. The party schematic and the floor plan. North and south elevation, west and east elevation, the elevation in the sheet. This is the other sheet that I have too. The foundation sheet. First floor with the schedule sheet. Second floor with the schedule doors and windows. Third floor with the schedule and door windows. And thank you.
House plan loft that we have here. Oh. Here we go. And then here for the architecture class. And talking about the different types of architecture. And then there's the three main types. So the different types of architecture, there should be three. And then what are the four primary architecture elements? And this kind of explains it. So if you want to become like become an architect or a designer, you have to learn the four basic elements, which is point, line, plane, and volume. And these elements can help create architecture or design. And this picture kind of shows it a bit. And then what are the three types of architectural practice? So for architecture firms, there's the three different common business models that they have. So efficiency-based, experience, and expertise-based. The three important things in architecture. So characteristics that distinguish a work of architecture from other built structures are: one, the suitability of work to use by human beings in general, and the adaptability of a particular human activities. Second, the stability and permanence, and then the third one as well there. And then there's these 5 levels of architecture. From the AIA, it has the 5 phases of architecture that are commonly referred through in our industry, from schematic design, design development, construction documents, bidding, contract, and administration. And then the 3 phases of working with an architecture, there's the design, the documents, and then of course the administration aspect. And then so with architecture, you have residential, commercial, landscape, interior design, urban design, green design, and also industrial architecture as well. And I want to add some pictures to these that kind of explain each one, like right here. So what residential architecture is for like homes. This one will focus on commercial architecture. As you can see, it focuses on more of like the commercial aspect. This one focuses on the landscape architecture, working on the outdoor space, and then interior design architecture. As you can see from what the title is, it will focus on interior design. This one, urban design, focuses on the build or project itself. And then there's the green design architecture here, and the industrial architecture as well. And that's all that I have so far. Do you need me to go through?
All right, good morning. This is my final project for this class. So intro to ADUs, I will skip over this a little bit because my other classmates explained, but I will explain the case study I did. So basically there was a ADU in Sacramento and the homeowner wanted to put an ADU in their backyard. It cost them around $140K because the owner knew how to cut costs, but the average ADU nowadays costs $300,000 to $400,000. So it took them 12 months to build a 2-bed and 1-bath ADU. And then now they're charging $1,500 a month for rent. And so the importance of this case study is that it shows that investing in ADUs will give you a return in the long run. And it also increased the value of their home by $170K. Okay, moving on. And then the solar decathlon study. So what is a solar decathlon? It's basically an annual event sponsored by the US Department of Energy, and it challenges students to design low carbon energy efficient buildings that are powered by renewable energy. And so the one that interested me the most was the winner of the solar decathlon in 2021, which was Team Riparian from the University of Oregon. And so their goal was to reinvent the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School in Portland. And they wanted the school to achieve net zero emissions, be more open to the community, have more community utilities, food trees, and communal spaces. This is a little poster they made to provide an overview of their project. And then here is another picture showing that they basically wanted an area of an open school. It looks like this. And then they had an innovative solar chimney design that utilized the sun's energy while allowing for fresh air to enter the building as well. And I believe this is why they won. Here's another close-up of the solar chimney. And so why this was important is because we ultimately have the same goal in making ADUs. We want to help the community while having a design that incorporates renewable energy. Okay, moving on, a small tutorial for Revit on how to use components. So in Revit, you can add more components such as furniture, windows, and doors that aren't loaded into the base program. And this will be helpful when something doesn't fit your project that Revit provides, and you need something more detailed. Loading in new components, so you go to your Insert tab and you will have two main options. Looks like that. Then method 1, load family method. Once you press this button, a pop-up screen will show, and it will show your downloads. And so just press on one and then it will load it in. And two good sites that provide components are Revit City and BIM Objects. And then method 2, the next method is the load Autodesk family. And then this will also show a pop-up screen and takes you to a database of official Revit components and just search whatever you need and load it in. Okay, ADU project. So starting the project, these were the measurements for each room. You make your party drawing, then put your wall exterior, and then from there you would need to add your slope roof. And yeah, this is my design. Design development. This is for floor 1 and the roof. Here are my construction documents. I have some section views, the north section view and south section view. And then I also have the east and west. Okay, moving on to sheets. This is my floor plan sheet. This is my roof plan. And then elevation views, had my north and south views. And then east and west. And had included a section view as well of the south and north. And then I'm still not done with this, but this is my DD drawings. And then I also plan to include one with the foundation slab. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Martin Gomez, and this is my final presentation for Architecture 173, construction documents. Once again, my name is Martin Gomez. I'm a finished carpenter by trade and an architectural technology and environmental design student. I am passionate about my work as a trim carpenter, and my goal is to become a residential architect and interior designer. But I'm open to whatever this career path may take me. So here's Autodesk Revit software that we have to download. Then here's BIM. What BIM is it's a foundation of digital transformation in architecture, engineering, and construction. Building information modeling is a holistic process in creating and managing information for a built asset. Here's the process. And an architect is an expert in designing buildings by drawing plans and making models, considering what the building will be for and who the user will be. So why is geometry? Oh, what is geometry? Geometry is a branch of mathematics concerns with properties of space and involves concepts such as points, lines, planes, distance, angles, surfaces, and curves. Geometry has applications to many fields, including architecture. Why do we rely so much on geometry in our designs? Geometry is an integral part of designing from start to finish. Just think about it. Architects use geometry to study and divide space, and well as draft detailed building plans. Builders and engineers rely on geometric principles to create structures safely. Designers apply geometry along with colors and scales to make aesthetically pleasing spaces inside. Applying geometry in design is unavoidable. Natural geometries like symmetry, spiral, fractal, and tessellation. Here are my certificates from LinkedIn: Revit Architecture Designing a House, Revit Detailing, BIM Manager, and Managing Revit. So our project was an ADU. And these are some of the images of the ADU some of the students went over. What is a ADU? An accessory dwelling unit. And these are the types of ADUs that can be built. These are images of those. And the benefits of an ADU, like they have stated, was privacy, source of income, and living space for the young people. Here are the state codes and some of the limits that you can do when building a detached ADU is 850 square feet to 1,000, and attached is 800 square feet, and 50% of the floors is in the primary home. The ADU case study. So these are a few case studies. There was 2 that I went through to grab some of the details and concepts of this model to incorporate it into my ADU. And these are the elevations of those models that I did a case study on. Now, this is a party, and these are ways that you can put them together for your ADU. So this is my party and schematic design mass model from my sheets. This is my floor plan ADU from my sheets. And these are the schedules for doors and windows. This is the roof plan of the ADU. This is the DD, design development floor plan for my ADU. These are the elevations, north and south. Other elevations, east and west. These are sections, north, south, east, west. These are our construction document. You have the sections and elevations in there. This is my sections, DD, design development. This is for east, west, north, and south. And this is my ADU. I put 3D view, axonometric view of my model. These are my design development images of my ADU. You have the front side view, back side view, and then you have left side view, right side view, and you have some axonometrics there. Views from the top, back, top, right, top, left. And here's my case study in the solar decathlon. I also chose the Survive Alabama house. And here you can see in these sheets, you can see the cover sheet, and then you have the general project rendering, giving you an idea of how the building looks inside. Here is the floor plan for that model. Here's dimensions plan for that model. Here is the exterior elevations for that model. You have the building sections. You can see it has elevations, has the sections. You can see the furniture inside as well for design development. Here's another building section on the other side. And here are wall details to the model. More wall details. So you can kind of have an idea of how the construction documents would look with inside the walls, what type of material they use. These will outline and identify all the materials used. This is a solar envelope. Now, this is I'll go a little bit over that right now. These are the events that I attended, the ARC event, which was for students. And this was a great event. We got to interact with a lot of the construction companies there. We met a lot of professionals, a lot of architects, and we were able to Me and one of my, a few of us, our classmates, were able to interact with them and speak to them regarding internships and whatnot. How did they, got that far in their careers and stuff. So it was a great event where you got to interact and create those connections with a lot of the architects. This was another event that I attended. It was the 1.5 Celsius symposium. This was a great event where they talked about a lot about the climate change and how it affects our environment and how we can create certain sustainable materials or use these materials in our environment to build more buildings that would benefit, for our health and our communities. Now, this was the Encompass event that we attended at the Beehive, and this was hosted by the AIA. This was a great event where they talked about we have the 2028 Olympics coming to LA, and they talked about how to kind of brainstorm, put together how to solve some of the problems that we're facing now with as far as getting funding for a lot of the urban interventions that we need to create for our communities so that they can flourish and how can I say, they can flourish and be more healthier to our communities and people to benefit from them. This was the USGBC LA conference that we went to. It was amazing. We met a lot of great people. There was a lot of great workshops, but the one that I really liked was the biomimicry workshop. They talked about a lot about sustainable materials and how biomimicry, it's one of the leading ways or that architects are building nowadays so that they can beautify our communities and make them more sustainable. They use the influence by nature. The buildings are influenced by nature. So now going back to my project, the ADU, I will now show you guys one of the commands, which was I was show you guys how to tag for doors and windows and then schedules. So you can do it two ways. One, you go in your ribbon up here and you look for your annotate, click on the annotate, and then you can go to tag by category, which will give me a second, which will do individual windows or doors, or you can always go back to, okay, so in your ribbon, you go up here to your annotate for the tags. Either you can do it by, let's say, each window, or you could do it by category, or you could tag all. I'll show you. If you want to tag them individually, you go to tag, and then you click on the window, and then you have your tag for your window. If you don't want to do that, if you want to tag everything, you can always go back and go tag all. And then you would scroll, click on your door tags, window tags, or whatever. If you want to tag your walls as well, you can always click here, go to apply, and then you hit OK. And there you go. You have all your windows and doors tags. Now for your schedules, you scroll down on your project browser, you go to schedules. Here you go to click, right click, create new schedule, and then new construction. Okay. And here you go and you click on what you want to create your schedules on. Let me see, we can go to windows, and you go, and once you're in your schedule properties, you click by the category that you want to be mentioned on your schedules. So I chose the type. I went down and chose the count of them, Then we'll get to align them in order. I went to the height. The mark, the model. Don't forget to double click the steel height, round height, the type of window, and then the type mark, the width. And you can always here with the little arrows, you can move them up in whatever order you would like to have them in. And then you click OK. And then there's your window schedules. Tells you the mark, tells you the model, the seal height, the width, rounded height, the type, and the type mark. You could always click and add more to your window schedules. And that is it for my presentation.
All right. Hello, my name is Alexander Angulo, and this is my final presentation for ARC173 construction documents. I'm just going to read off my quote. A great vision is needed, and the man who has it must follow it as the eagle seeks the deepest blue of the sky. This is a quote by Crazy Horse, the Sioux chief in South Dakota. Let me see here. So first we went through the different typology, tectonics, and topology of construction, and the or materials and methods of construction in the 13 categories. BIM and Revit. The difference between BIM and Revit is that BIM is building information modeling, while Revit is a tool used for the BIM process. Revit is a BIM-based software utilized by architects, engineers, contractors, and designers to create a unified model consisting of real-life information. Here's a quick overview of the building life cycle and the BIM life cycle. So at the beginning of the class, I made sure my Revit program was updated and identified some courses I wanted to take. I didn't get through all of them, but I got a good amount of them done. Some YouTube videos that I found helpful. I'm not really going to go over what an ADU is, as my previous classmates went over all the details already. So here's a certificate for the Revit Essential training. Here's the layout of the interface for Revit. Gloss over my notes. BIM Manager Managing Revit course. Case studies. Overview of the new laws and regulations in California for ADUs. The different types of ADUs. Here are some examples that I found to be appealing to me, probably because there's a lot of greenery around these particular ADUs and the use of wood on most of them. And some more examples of what an ADU can look like. Here are some examples of floor plans that I found online that I thought were really good and helpful for configuring the furniture for my ADU layout. All right, so the part T is basically the diagram of the building that you are going to make. And as you can see, it's a very modular design, and you can have it in multiple different layouts. So this is the part T that I used for this class. And I started with the model lines and then drew in the walls. Some more views of the process of me going through building the model. Stairs are typically pretty tricky, but I think most of us were able to figure it out pretty well for this semester class. And then here are my 4 axonometric views of my final product. Going into the construction documents, I made this cover page for my set. And if you see this QR code up here, you can scan it and see a rendering of my ADU on a grassy field. So I'm going to leave it there for a second if anyone wants to check that out. All right, going forward, here's my Part T and schematic design mass model of the floor plan. Construction documents for my floor plan and roof plan, as well as door and window schedules. East and north elevations. South and west elevations. The sections that I cut through my ADU, east-west section and the north and south section. Here's my design development for my floor plan and my roof plan. And then some more design development elevation views. South and west. East and west, north and south sections. And that concludes my PowerPoint. I'm gonna hop into Revit and show how to make a new sheet. So can everyone see my Revit screen?
Yes.
All right. So to make a new sheet, you'll go to your project browser, and scroll down to where it says Sheets. You can right click and select New Sheet. And then here you'll select what size you want to use. I'm going to stick with the 11 by 17. Click OK. You have your new sheet. So when you want to add something to your sheet, floor plans can only be on one sheet at a time, as well as 3D views. Schedules, on the other hand, can be on multiple sheets. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to bring the site plan. Just drag and drop it wherever you want. And then I'll also bring the store schedule. The store right here. Right. And then if you don't want something on there, you can just click it and click delete to remove it. And that concludes my presentation.
Yeah, my name is Lin Peng. This is my ADU presentation for ARC173. This is my background. I started from HVAC, MEP. This is my presentation board. From Party and level 1. This is ADU with a front yard. This with doors and windows, 3D views. So what is ADU? ADU stands for accessory dwelling units. ADU is separate, complete dwelling units with the kitchen, sleeping area, and the bathroom that either attach or detach from the primary residential units on a single family lot. An ADU can be a new building or an addition or an alteration. So 3 situations: new, addition, or alteration. This ADU in my dream. So how I draw the ADU? Procedures. Step number 1, set up levels. Step number 2, sketch party with model lines. And make sure this distance between tower and the living kitchen is a 12-inch. Then step number 3, install a 6-inch exterior wall like this. Then I install 6-inch interior wall. Step number 5, install tower wall like this. Number 6, install roof. This is northwest flat roof. Step 7, install southeast roof. This is a shed roof. Shed roof slope to one side like this. But there's a gap between the roof and the wall. So I have to fix that. Attach wall to roofs like this. Because I got a 50 slides, I got to go faster. Next step, elevation view. I gotta make sure this roof and the flat roof continue smoothly to prevent water leak. These 2 roofs connect together. Then I install 4-inch concrete slab. Then I add a level 0 and -1. -1 means the platform underneath this slab. Then I install the slab edge like this. And verify platform location. This is a platform. Install exterior stairs. I use a spiral stairs. ARC. Then after this, I install the door, window, and the doors. This is a 3D view, northeast view. This is the view for the slab edge. Then I drag and drop my drawings to into the sheets. This is a party. This schematic design, level 1. Design development, level 1. Construction documents, level 1. Northeast 3D view. Northwest. Southeast. Southwest. There's 2 elevation view, east and west. North elevation and south elevation. Design development. the construction document, elevation east, elevation north, elevation west, elevation south, and these two section view. One is the east-west, another section is north-south. The section view for construction documents. East-west section for construction documents. This door and window schedule. I put a separate sheets because I want to put more items here. For example, thermal resistance, heat transfer, U value. Why I do this? Because I'm gonna do load calculations for energy and HVAC design. This is a detail of the wall. Insulation, rigid insulation, and the stucco. I put a note over here, very important. For 2x4 wall, use R13. For 2x6, use R19. But now, from January 2023, this year, we got to comply with Title 24, effective January 1st. The date you apply for the permit after January 1st, you have to comply with new Title 24 requirements. Insulation is mandatory. For 2x4, use R21. For 2x6, you have to use R25. And watch out, on the exterior wall, you have to use 2-inch rigid insulation. That's mandatory. 2-inch rigid insulation over here. This is slab on grade. I draw this myself. Be sure to install visqueen. Visqueen is a plastic sheet, 6 mil, and 3-inch cover. What cover means? The distance between rebar and dirt. Therefore, this portion has to be undisturbed earth. Nobody ever touch that. Cannot be a loose dirt. Okay, this I got information from Solar Decathlon. Students develop market-ready design skill. Okay, this is important keywords. Market-ready design skill. Form lasting connection with the leading industry professionals and join the growing global network for Solar Decathlon alumni. This is another picture built by students in the context. This context evaluates the building's architecture for creativity, overall integration of systems, and the ability to deliver outstanding aesthetics and functionality. This is regarding the residential code. Residential stairway building code, IRC. This is summary. I put a summary over here, so you don't have to read the whole book. This is very, very important. I try to memorize all this. This terminology, modification, what's that mean when people talk about modification? When the inspector or plan checker asks you modification, what's that mean? That means deviation from the code due to practical difficulty of individual cases require approval. In other words, you have a code violation. You have to write a modification waiting for approval. Riser height maximum is 7¾ Normally we use 7-inch. Tread depth minimum is 10-inch. So just remember 7, 11 is easier for you. The greatest and the smallest cannot exceed 3/8 inch. Check your staircase. The greatest and the smallest cannot the difference cannot exceed 3/8 inch. Otherwise, you could get into a lawsuit. 4 more risers require handrail. So in other words, if you have 3 risers, don't need handrail. Stairway landing minimum depth 36 inch. Landing. Handrail height between 34 and 38 inch. So normally handrail, you go measure roughly about 36 inch. Take the middle point, 36 inch. And the stairway width minimum 36 inch. Headroom 80 inch, 6/8, 80 inch. This is very, very important. Remember this number. Guardrail height between 34 and 38. So normally we take 36 inch. Guardrail opening shall not allow passage of sphere 4-inch diameter. This is very important. Shall not allow passage of a sphere. So a ball 4-inch cannot go through. Why? To prevent the children, toddler, fall over outside of the stairway. Or sometimes they stuck their head through this staircase, a guardrail, and cannot get out. Okay, this is the new requirements according to California Energy Commission Title 24 Energy Code. This is a mandatory measure. 2 situations, roof detail. It's hard to see, right? Look at for overall U factor cannot exceed 0.184. So you have to do some calculation. What is U factor? Heat transfer, heat conduction rate, heat transfer rate, U factor. This picture is hard to see. Don't worry, I enlarge in the next one. See over here, I enlarge. Asphalt shingle, roof paper, roof sheathing, vent, space, vent baffle. What is a vent baffle? You go to Home Depot, you can buy this made of plastic to hold this insulation, to make a vent space between this. Do not stick your insulation all the way to the roof. No, that's wrong. You should have an empty space for ventilation. Rigid insulation, this one. This is new requirements. Rigid insulation. Okay, blah, blah, all this. If your roof is like this is the requirements. Soffit, you gotta have a vent here, soffit vent. So this is a tile roof. The last one, the previous one, this one is a shingle roof. This is a tile roof. Okay, let's go next one. I got this from LATTC, City of LA requirements. This revised April 26, 2023, last month. So it's a hot from the press. Accessory ADU conversion requires a local jurisdiction. Blah, blah, we don't worry this, but watch this. Foundation. And before this, you got to comply with 2022 California Residential Code, CRC. and California Building Code. So foundation, exterior wall, and interior bearing wall should be supported on continuous footing. Let's look at the next page. I don't have to read the whole thing, okay? Just number 2. That's it. Depth of footing below the natural and the finished grade shall not be less than 12 inch. Then come over here. Minimum 12 inch in width and 12 inch in depth. Oh, so we're good. We installed, you remember the foundation slab edge. What size we did? We did 12 by 12. So exactly like this. Comply with city of LA requirements. Number 3, minimum concrete strength for new or underpinning footage should be 2,500 PSI. 2,500 PSI. When you order concrete from a concrete company, you gotta tell them you need 2,500 PSI. Then have to send the concrete sample to a testing laboratory to verify 2,500 PSI. And the inspector have to do slump test for the concrete. Normally, the slump test is 4 inch or 5 inch. Okay, I don't have to read the whole thing. You can download from LATTC, and input this number. This is documentation number, PBC, blah, blah, blah. Go to the next one, another one. Again, from LATTC, this is the requirements for the movable tiny house. This came out, see effective January 1st, 2023, effective this year. An enclosed space intended for separate independent living quarters of one family and meet the following requirements. These are all the requirements. Let the last one look up here. No smaller than 150 and no larger than 430 square feet as measured with the exterior faces of the exterior wall. In other words, it's measured from the stucco, not from the studs. Okay, this second page. Zoning requirements, height limit. MTH stand for the height limit, limited to 2-story. Yard setback, okay, this is very important. At least 4 feet away from the rear and side lot. So setback 4 feet. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.